Welcome back. It's time for business, and I'm joined by Matthew. Hello again, Matthew.
Hi, Claire.
Now, here in France, we've talked quite a bit about the pigeons, and now you're going to tell us about the chicks.
Yes, remember the pigeons? They were the startup business creators, really, entrepreneurs who wanted to fight against tax proposals. They called themselves the Pigeons, because that also means suckers, here in France. And they actually won their battle. And it seems as if their bird-inspired campaign has inspired another group. These are called auto-entrepreneurs here in France. Now, really what that means is sort of self-employed sole traders, if you like, for the most part. Now, they're also unhappy with some new proposals from the government that will change a bit the regime they currently operate under. And they're hoping as well that a bird-inspired campaign will bring them similar success.
France's auto entrepreneurs are feuding with the government over proposed changes to their status. The junior trade minister wants to limit the length of time someone can work as an auto entrepreneur to 2 years if it's their sole source of income. The self-employed, calling themselves the Chicks, have quickly mobilized, setting up a website and an online petition. The French Prime Minister had to backpedal.
The auto-entrepreneurs need reassurance. That's the message I have for them. There's no need to worry. On the contrary, the government wishes maximum possibilities for business startups.
In the end, the Prime Minister announced that the changes would only apply to construction workers. Since 2009, around 1 million people have signed up to the auto entrepreneur status that was launched by former President Nicolas Sarkozy. It offers the self-employed an easy way to set up their own business and allows them to pay social charges as they earn rather than upfront. Businesses often prefer to commission auto entrepreneurs over regular established companies. They'll incur less costs. François Hollande's socialist government believes the system puts regular tradespeople at a disadvantage because auto entrepreneurs pay less social charges.
Currently, the way auto entrepreneurs work relies on unfair competition with regard to larger companies, because the auto entrepreneurs don't have to follow the same rules.
The Chicks say they aren't giving up without a fight. A final verdict could be announced as early as mid-June.
So, Matthew, we're seeing small business owners fighting against rule changes, but it seems the government also has its eye on big companies.
Yes, that's right. Now, we heard about this over the weekend. The government wants to see big companies giving more details of its activities abroad. Now, it sees this as a way to cut down on tax avoidance. There's been a lot of talk about this recently within Europe of companies using often different European tax regimes, Apple, for example, Amazon as well, to minimize their tax. It's not illegal, but it's just a clever way around the rules. And France is deciding it wants to see foreign companies declare everything they're doing. Now, this was originally designed just for banks, but we've heard from the French Finance Ministry they're going to apply this to all big companies as well. What they want to see is that companies can't pretend they're not making any revenue here in France for tax purposes when they have lots of employees and then say it's all coming out of, for example, the Cayman Islands when they just have one person there. So, but big business doesn't really like it. They say it's too much administration to go through this country-by-country reporting.
Now, meanwhile, in China, some mixed signals on the economy.
That's right. Some mixed signals coming in the form of PMI data. We see this every month, don't we? And every month we look to see, is the number that we get from this PMI data, as it's called, above or below 50? Because any number above 50 suggests things are continuing to expand. And we've got a bit of a mixed picture from the most recent data out of China. Official data was 50.8 for May, but HSBC data out earlier this Monday, 49.2. So you can see sort of things heading in both directions, providing a bit of confusion really for investors about what really is happening. How strong is the recovery in China? Remember, growth there expected to be around 7.5% or more this year, so still pretty good, but it needs to be strong really to help the world economy out of the doldrums.
So how did the markets react to that data?
Well, they're not having such a great day. In particular, Japan, the market there is falling, although that's also on the basis of a stronger yen and a sell-off off in the US last week. Meanwhile, in China, it seems like the more positive side of that data perhaps holding sway. The market there, or the Shanghai Composite, just up very slightly. Well, let's get some of the day's news in brief now. And Japan Airlines says that a problem occurred on a newly modified Boeing Dreamliner on Sunday. Now, that was just one day after it resumed full operation of the Boeing aircraft after battery problems. The airline says the issue, though, was linked to an air pressure sensor.
Meanwhile, another Japanese airline says it's considering buying Airbus for the first time. All Nippon Airways said the Airbus A350 could be a good candidate to replace its fleet of Boeing 777s. A deal would be a major coup for Airbus, which has struggled to build its business in Japan.
And Google is forecast to overtake Apple in the number of app downloads. That's according to figures from two research firms. They say that Google's higher monthly download rate of 2.5 billion apps could see it surpassing Apple in the next few months.
Staying with Apple, another battlefront has opened up.
Yes, they've got another battle which will be in a New York courtroom this Monday. Now, this is all in response to claims that when it comes to the ebooks that it runs on its iPads and other devices, there are charges that it tried to fix the prices with 5 other publishers. This is back in 2009. Now, in fact, those 5 publishers have all settled their cases now, but Apple has strongly denied these claims and is vowing to fight on through the courts. But the government alleged that this scheme that they put in place, the government says, cost consumers tens of millions of dollars, adding $2, $3, even $5 to the price of an ebook. So Apple will be fighting hard. But interestingly, some of the evidence for this comes in claims that were made in the Steve Jobs biography, which came out, of course, shortly after he died. So they'll be using the government using that as part of their case.
Now, Moscow is known for its heavy traffic, but it's now following in the footsteps of Paris and London, for example, and introducing a city bike scheme.
That's right. We talk a lot about these bike schemes, don't we? They're sort of popping up all over, but Moscow for a long time seen as perhaps not the best candidate. They have a lot of traffic there. They also don't have any bike lanes at the moment, and plus they have problems with cars parked all over the place and on streets, and for a lot of cyclists, they say it's an extremely unwelcome place to be one. Well, let's see how many of them brave this new scheme. Just 150 bikes available for hire so far. But as the city dwellers say, some of them are feeling optimistic about what it could do.
I don't think it's worth taking the roads at the moment, as there are not enough cycle lanes. Once there are enough, like in Berlin, for example, you'll be able to cycle on the roads.
To tell the truth, I'm a little afraid, but I know the rules of the road more or less, so I think we'll find an understanding with motorists.
Well, good luck to them. Are you a fan of the bike scheme here in Paris, Claire?
I am. But
you
I'm
are.
often running late, so I tend to get the metro more often than a bike. But I do like it, especially when it's sunny.
Okay, well,
And
I'm
you?
not sure. I like it too, but I'm not sure I'd be willing to brave that
Maybe not in
one just
Moscow.
yet.
All right, thank you very much, Matthew. That's it for business, and that's it from me for now. Stay tuned for the latest headlines with Stuart. They're coming right up.